Hello guys, welcome back. My name is Nathan and today I'm going to be doing my May 2020 NHL mock draft and top 31 prospect rankings. Now the month of May is officially upon us and you know what that means, a new monthly mock draft, boys. Last time in April I did my top 20 prospect rankings, but today I'm going to expand it to the full first round and my top 31 best prospects in the 2020 NHL draft. So with this video, who do I see as the best prospects right now in 2020 and which prospects make my top 31? Watch till the end for all my rankings and picks, and of course hit that subscribe button if you're new. But if you're new to these monthly mock drafts, every single month I do my top 2020 draft rankings. We're going to continue that on to the 2021 draft as well. But this is more prospect rankings, who I see as the best prospects in 2020. Going to go through now 31 to 1. Less of a mock draft of where I think these prospects will go in these specific teams. But I have one team assigned to every player due to where the team is in the standings to get a feel of where these prospects might go. Again, it's less of a mock draft and more of my top prospect rankings for the 2020 draft. But as you can see, we already went for the 31 through 16 picks, so now getting us started with the top 15, and coming in as my 15th best prospect in 2020, I have Russian winger Rodion Amirov. Now Amirov is one of the more unique prospects in this draft, I feel, a guy that I think can provide some excellent value. 18-year-old Russian left winger, played in the KHL, VHL, and the MHL. In the MHL was able to get 22 points in 17 games, and played 21 games in the KHL too. But Amirov just brings so much to the ice. Some solid skills, but also the two-way game is what makes him so enticing in my opinion. A guy that can beat you on offense and defense at the same time. And for Russian wingers, that isn't too common. But now going on to my 14th best prospect in the 2020 draft. Coming in number 14, I have Dawson Mercer, a guy that has been a big riser in my list over the past few months, and for very good reason. A guy that throughout the QMJHL season was just solid through and through. Canadian right winger at age 18, just a guy that possesses so much skill. In the QMJHL, starting out with Drummondville, he was able to get 42 points in 26 games, just overall being an offensive beast, and I think that will translate very well. The skating definitely checks out, the competitiveness checks out, and the skill is definitely one of the best, especially for wingers in this draft. Now going on to my 13th best prospect in the 2020 draft, I have Canadian forward Dylan Holloway. Holloway to me is easily one of the most well-rounded and well-polished prospects in this draft, I feel. In the NCAA this year with Wisconsin, got 35 games played under his belt and 17 points. Just got better and better as the year went on, and the production did actually start to rise quite a bit. When it comes to Holloway, the compete level is there. He's a big time forward, a guy that I think can be a great power forward in the NHL in the next level. Right now sitting at 6 foot, I think he also can expand that frame quite a bit, but when it comes to just offense skills, rushing the puck, and being able to play solid defense, it really is all there for Holloway in my opinion, and just like Amirov, the value will be awesome at the NHL level. Now going on to one of the hardest prospects to pinpoint in this draft, that coming in number 12, and that being Yaroslav Askarov. Now a lot of people really have Yaroslav Askarov high, and I don't exactly blame them. To me, he might be the best goaltending prospect since Andrei Vasilevsky or even a Carey Price, but I pretty much have a rule that I don't put any goaltenders in the top 10. That's tried and true. It's too much of a risk in my opinion to put him that high, but the talent still checks out with Askarov. His hockey IQ, his senses, and his size, really the combination is all there to be potentially an elite goaltender. Whether he reaches that is unknown, but if you're going to take a risk on a goaltender, Askarov might as well be that bet. Now coming in at number 11, my 11th best prospect in 2020, I have WHL winger Seth Jarvis. Seth Jarvis has easily become one of my favorite prospects in this draft, and it's not really for one reason. It's everything that he ends up bringing in with a blended game that just got so much better in the second half of this year. In the WHL, was able to get 98 points in 58 games played, second in WHL scoring, and he just brings so much value in my opinion that you don't see too often. When it comes to the offense, it's very well rounded, puck skills, shooting, and offense creativity. It's a nice blend there. there. But when it comes to competitiveness and also using his body quite a bit, especially as the season wore on, he was a guy that just had so much durability, so much strength, and a lot more in the second half. Hopefully we'll see that second half carry on to next season, but again, if we're talking about bets to be made, I would definitely bet that Seth Jarvis becomes really good. Now getting us into the top 10, and at number 10, I have Swedish winger Noel Gunler. Noel Gunler, in my opinion, is easily one of the most underrated prospects in this draft. When you look at guys like Craig Button in the NHL Central Scouting, he isn't as high as he should be, but that's a player that in terms of just pure skill and raw talent just oozes it out of his body. Now, as an 18-year-old Swede, 6'2", in 45 SHL games, was able to get 13 points in the SHL, which is not bad, even though I guess you could have expected better. Noel Gunler is still a guy that with his frame, with his skills, and with his smooth skating, just has such a dynamic ability that I think will directly translate to the NHL level. But now going on to my 9th best prospect in the 2020 draft, and coming in number 9, back-to-back Swedish picks, I have Alexander Holtz. Now Alexander Holtz, in my opinion, is up there with guys like Jack Quinn for being the best pure goal scorer of the draft and certainly having so much potential in that area. In 35 SHL games, was able to get 9 goals and 16 points. Although there is some big work to be done when he doesn't have the puck, when he does have the puck, he has a brilliant shot, and offensively, the creativity is there. Now coming in at number 8, my 8th best prospect in the 2020 draft, I have Canadian center Cole Perfetti. Now Cole Perfetti is one of those prospects that if the pure skill ends up translating, could be one of the best players in this entire draft. Got 111 points in 61 OHL games, being second in OHL scoring. Although I think there is some pretty valuable concerns when it comes to skating, and I think he can definitely work in that department. When it comes to the top end skill, and especially when it comes to the hockey IQ, there's very few prospects out there that touch Perfetti's ceiling. Now coming in at number 7, my favorite prospect in the draft, I have Anton Lundell. The Finnish center just brings so much in my opinion, and especially if you're looking for reliability, clutchness, and just no excuses on the ice, Anton Lundell is certainly one of those players. One of the smartest players I think in the draft, especially positionally, is so freaking sound. And although I agree the ceiling offensively might not be up there for Alexis Lafreniere or Quinton Byfield, I don't think it has to be. I think he can be a brilliant defensive center in the NHL and be a guy that is wise beyond his age at the very least. He might not be a perfect first line center, but to get a great defensively sound second liner from the 7th pick, I think it's pretty good value. Now coming in just outside the top 5 at number 6, I have Canadian defenseman Jamie Drysdale. Easily the best defenseman in the 2020 draft, and to me it isn't even close. No, Jake Sanderson, get the heck out of here. Jamie Drysdale is the man in this department. 47 points in 49 OHL games, being 3rd in team scoring for the Erie Otters, was just such a dynamic force when it came to defensemen in the OHL. Such a brilliant puck mover, such a great skater as well, and to me just has the potential to be a number 1 offensive threat at the NHL level if everything pans out. But now getting us started with the top 5, and at number 5 I have Austrian stud Marco Rossi. Being first in OHL scoring is not easy to do, but Marco Rossi did it in his draft year. 120 points in 56 games, and in Marco Rossi's case, the stats do not lie. He really was that dynamic, I try to say dominant and dynamic at the same time. Both do work, to be honest. He was just such a force for the Ottawa 67s, and offensively just exudes creativity. He kind of suffers from the same problems I would say as Perfetti, where the skating might not be up to an elite level, but the skill is absolutely insane. And when it comes to puck control, when it comes to driving play, when it comes to hockey IQ, everything is there to develop into a stud first line center at the NHL level. Now speaking of stud first liners, going into my 4th best prospect of the 2020 draft, I have German stud Tim Stutzle. Stutzle just is absolutely brilliant. I mean, that's really all I have to say. Being so fantastic in the DEL this year that he's just raised his stock so much. Although I wouldn't prefer him over my top 3 prospects, he certainly is making the debate very hard. But a guy was just so professional, so good already. But when it comes to just being NHL ready, he's definitely up there when it comes to this year's prospects. But in terms of skating, puck skills, and just great overall offensive ability, there is very few prospects in this draft that are better right now than Stutzle. But now going to the guy who just beat out Tim Stutzle, and coming in number 3, I have Swedish winger Lucas Raymond. And to me, Lucas Raymond, it's very close between the two, but I think he just beats out Stutzle for the overall potential you're getting in this guy. 10 points in 33 SHL games with a very limited role with the Frölunda team, and I think that's a player that in terms of hockey IQ, puck skills, driving play, and actually being very impressive defensively in the SHL as a super young player, that's a guy who I think might not be totally NHL ready next season, but once he is, I think will be a dominant player, and if developed right, will be a first line winger, I think, at the very least. And now going on to the second best prospect in the 2020 draft, and coming in number 2, I have Canadian stud center Quinton Byfield. There are some people out there that might put Tim Stutzle over Byfield, but to me, in terms of just pure potential and what Byfield brings, it's just too good to pass up. 6'4", 214 pounds as a center, 82 points in 45 games, and to me, in terms of just potential, I don't think I could pass up Byfield at number 2. Firstly, he's an August birthday, one of the youngest players in this entire draft, and 2, he's 6'4", 214 pounds, and he was barely using his body in the OHL this year. Once he fully unlocks that side of his game, and once he finally starts using his physical body, that's a player that I think will be a dominant NHLer and could even potentially be ready for the NHL next season, just barely turning 18. And that by itself is already way too impressive. Now you want to talk about impressive, going to the first overall pick, the best prospect in the 2020 draft, and I don't think there's really too much debate here. I mean, I like Quinton Byfield, but number 1 this time around, as it's always been, will be Alexis Lafreniere. I mean, 112 points in 52 QMJHL games, World Junior MVP for Team Canada. Alexis Lafreniere is the real deal, and if there's any prospect to be NHL ready this year, it is Alexis Lafreniere by an absolute landslide. Just everything about his game is so refined, so polished that it's almost insane. And a guy that pure potential-wise, I think will just rock the NHL as soon as next season. But those are my top 31 picks for the 2020 NHL Draft. Of course, with this video, I need to hear y'all's thoughts down in those comments down below. Let me know what you agree and disagree with, and also let me know your rankings too. Of course, with this video also, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Comment down below all your thoughts and share this video with your friends. Get the word out there, and click on this card right here to watch all of my 2021 NHL Draft content right in one playlist. My name is Nathan, and I'll see you guys next video or stream. Goodbye.